Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that right now. Hit that subscribe button right below. Let's go to Sunday. Yesterday morning, started in Spain, the last international game of the year, the last morning game.
Yeah.
Miami Dolphins 16.
On to Australia now for next year.
When is that? Beginning of the season?
I assume. My guess was because it's like they're 16 hours ahead or something.
So you got to do it.
So my
really
assumption
early.
is it will be like morning/noon Australian time for like prime time. So I would say they do it like the Brazil game, like a Friday night, week 1.
Yeah,
that
this
way
the
it's Saturday.
The Eagles, because we're
I don't
sending Mailata back there.
That way,
Right.
yeah, probably. That way it's like Saturday, Saturday 10 to noon or whatever. Australian time puts it in prime time window on Friday night here. Is my guess.
Player safety, doing this for the players.
Well, that's what you want.
Dolphins 16, Commanders 13. Overtime win for the Dolphins, who moved to 4-7. Commanders fall to 3-8. We made some jokes about what we were sending over to Madrid.
Field goals.
Yeah, we sent field goals.
Just like the Europeans won.
It was a couple 3-win teams, but a lot of kicking. And we sent them an overtime game, an entertaining overtime game.
Can I take a moment to complain
Yes.
about the announcers acting like the only thing Europeans want to see is kicks? They're European, they like soccer, so the only thing they want to see is field goals. They should be loving this. Look, there's another field goal. Way! It's like, how dumb do you need to be? They're watching football because they're football fans. Like, that's like thinking that Americans want to see, they're watching a soccer match and all they're looking for is throw-ins. Oh, man, it's another throw-in. Let's go. Right? That's what I'm familiar with. Like, they're watching it because they're football fans, not because they're like, transposed soccer fans that are only interested in the kicking element of the game. It's just a stupid thing to think. And yet every single broadcast that goes over to Europe, they're like, man, it's time to get jazzed. It's a field goal attempt again. Like, what do you do? No.
As a former European, you know.
Well, as a current European until my
That's
application
true. Haven't fully
comes out of the black hole of bureaucracy that it's in at the moment.
Oh, man. Neil's from Europe. Hates soccer. Hates that game.
Yeah.
Likes football. Mm-hmm. The people in the stadium are football fans. They want to see good ball.
Exactly.
And we sent Commanders Dolphins.
Right.
And kicks.
They're there because they like
not
football,
excited about
not
that.
because they're looking for another sport that involves kicking.
They are excited about the overtime game, though. Marcus Mariota, overtime interception, sets up the Dolphins game-winning.
He'd done so well as well. Like he'd played pretty impressively, Marcus, and he took off with the scramble and was a big part of them being in the game.
Yeah.
And then went Marcus Mariota again.
Yeah, on his own 35, Dolphins finished it with a 29-yard field goal. Again, I watch the morning games. I watch without sound.
Ah.
So did not get to see or hear the discourse when Miami went for it on 4th and 1. Tie game, 4th and 1 on the Washington 1. They run up the middle, lose 2 yards. So they try to...
They got stuffed like twice, back-to-back.
Right, back-to-back runs.
Javon Kinlaw makes a great play at the goal line on 3rd and goal, tackle for no gain. Then the next play is Frankie Louvu on 4th and goal, stuffs it.
What were your thoughts on that? Again, so it's tie games, 13-13. There's a minute 44 left. Miami decides to not kick the field goal to go up 16-13. They go for it. They get stopped. Washington, we eventually go to overtime. Anyway, Washington misses a 56-yard field goal at the buzzer, or close to the buzzer, we'll say. And Miami gets the win in overtime. I assuming it was a take the points discourse?
So I don't know. I assumed there was, but I wasn't. I had it on in the gym. I say the gym, I mean my basement.
Yeah.
But I used to have this old TV that came from my parents' house, which it's new enough to be like a modern television, like flat, but it's old enough that it's definitely not smart, right? So unfortunately, it's basically useless in my gym because there's no connection to anything. So I took that off the wall, replaced it with a newer TV that actually has connectivity and stuff. So I'm like, this is great. I can watch the Madrid game, the Spain game, and actually do some exercise on a Sunday morning.
And get your work.
So I was doing that. So I wasn't on Twitter figuring out what. But yeah, I assume the standard. Kick your points.
It was an interesting decision. I'm not saying right or wrong. I think Miami running it right up the gut.
That's the most interesting element to me. Miami's Mike McDaniel's still doing some cool stuff. Like, you watch them in this game, and the most interesting element of what Miami's doing is some of the creativity still. And then on that situation, they're like, well, we got 3rd and 4th and goal. We're going to become a power running football team now because we need to. And they ran up. I think the first one was with Devin Achane, who's amazing and was phenomenal in this game again. And then that got stuffed. They're like, I got the solution. I know what went wrong. Achane, sideline, please. Ollie, out you go. Ollie Gordon, 235 pounds or whatever he is. Ollie goes in. You're like, that'll fix it. Now we got a power back in there. And it just, same thing. It just got stuffed. Like, your offensive line is still Miami's offensive line. You're not going to fix it just by putting in a bigger guy. Like, what?
Yeah.
You're not a power football team. Come up with something creative.
So 3rd and 4th and 1, they get stopped. Power run game. It felt like one of those, like in the preseason you do that to kind of instill some toughness, some physicality. In the preseason, it's like, we're going to go for it on 4th and short. We're just going to work on this play. Didn't feel like the best play call for Miami. I don't hate the decision, of course. I usually lean toward going for it because you give Washington a long field. It's not we're going to be saying this every single week. Had Miami kicked the field goal, given Washington about a minute 40 to get a kickoff return, probably have good starting field position, get down into field goal range to tie it, of course your defense could make a stop.
Right.
But there's a very likely scenario that you kick the field goal, then Washington kicks a field goal, and you're in overtime anyway. So Miami's playing their odds. We'd rather have them chasing a touchdown to get to overtime. And if we don't get it, they got to go the entire field. And it turns out, 56-yard or whatever it was, the field position mattered, right? Like, Washington moved the ball that far, but not close enough to get into field goal range. So ultimately it works out, but I think, still talking through some of those decisions is important.
I saw somebody's, go for it model. I forget who it was. They were like, it's basically the break-even point was 55%, I think. If they think they have a better than 55% chance of converting on the play, go for it. So.
Yeah. And as soon as you run it up the gut, it's probably 20% with Miami's offensive line. But
they put in a power back.
But I get it from a decision standpoint. So, look, Miami, couple wins now in a row, beat Buffalo in 3 out of 4 weeks, by the way. Beat Atlanta, beat Buffalo last week, and then beat the Commanders. They're sitting here at 4-7, at least trending in the right direction. The way Washington's defense had been playing, I still thought Miami might have a little bit more success there.
So they had some chances in this game. Both teams did. Devon Achane is so good for Miami. Unfortunately, he's kind of the only one at this point. So there's a big part of this game that was just like, how much can he individually carry them? Washington's defense is so bad that they're using Mikey Sanderstill as like he's their version of Kyle Hamilton, which is like, wherever the problem is, just put Mikey and he'll make it better. And he does. Like, it's kind of
player. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good, and he does, like, he is versatile and he does improve things, but only because the things are that bad to begin with. Like, Kyle Hamilton will improve basically anybody's defense no matter where you put him. Mikey will improve Washington's defense because they're that bad. And unfortunately for him, he had a game where, like, they had him sort of filling in, and everywhere he filled in, he kind of screwed something up a little bit. Like, he dropped an interception, which was a good play to be in position, but he then had the interception in his hands, couldn't come up with it. He also got put back to return punts because their punt returner wasn't there, and obviously you put Mikey there. He's the guy you get to fill in, and unfortunately he muffs his first punt. Miami takes over and sets them up in a really good spot with a tight football game. It's like I feel bad because he's their best secondary player, but unfortunately him being asked to fill in everywhere didn't do him or them any favors in this game. The other element is after that stuff for Miami at the goal line, where Washington's driving to get the field goal to tie it up, Chris Moore drops a touchdown, like right before the 50, whatever it was, field goal attempt. The safety had a piece of his arm, but then let it go, and then it was like he thought, I'm already got one arm because this guy's got hold of the other one, so I just won't even bother trying to catch it with the second one. Had he actually gone with two hands, it's in the end zone, it's in his hands. You catch that, you win the game.
Chris Moore still making, still getting reps here. It's been a fascinating career for Moore at wide receiver. A couple years ago, just like a random deep threat for the Titans. Anyway, Dolphins 4-7, Commanders rough season, falling to 3-8. They probably needed these teams are both at like, you got to win out to even, have any kind of playoff hopes, outside playoff hopes, salvage your season. Washington now falling to 3-8. I know Jaden Daniels with the dislocated elbow. There was talk about him coming back, but the more they lose, the less I think we're going to see of Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like both these two teams are. I mean, they're not playoff teams,
Yes.
Like, there's a weird subsection of Miami fans that don't seem to accept the reality of this season, which is, you're 4-7 and have very few good players right now. Like, this is not a. You're looking to the future, Like, whether, however far into the distance you want to project that, that's fine. But, like, you're not a serious team now.
Yeah, I haven't run into those Miami fans yet, but
they're there.
They're not looking great, but trending in the right direction right now at 4-7.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video.
You heard the man. Subscribe.